Graders, you need book, pencil eraser, and your lovely paper plate clock with both the snake and the turtle on it, and also the times written on your, here we go, handy flaps all the way around the edge of your paper plate. All right, first graders, again, I think today is going to be pretty easy. We're going to make sure that we're always putting the times on our paper plate clock so that we get that extra practice. But go ahead here, take a look, lesson 9.9, practice time to the hour and half hour. So you learned all about this yesterday. Today is just a review. So circle the clock that matches the problem. So if you want to read along with me, it actually tells you this down here in this for the teacher part. I'm going to read it out loud so that if you're not sure what some of these words are, you know them without needing to ask your parents. Read the following problems. Barbara goes to the store at 8 o'clock. Circle the clock that shows 8 o'clock. Children use the top workspace to solve. Do you see that lovely teacher note there? So go ahead and look up here. Which one shows 8 o'clock? Well, here you can see that our hand is the turtle. It's pretty close to the 8. Here it's right at the 8 too. But you can see here it's actually pointing straight at the 8. And right here it's between the 8 and the 9. And down here, you know, when it's 8 o'clock, that snake is pointing up at the 12. And here he's pointing down at the 6. So this one is the one that shows 8 o'clock. Down here, the second question is, Barbara takes Rhea, must be Barbara's dog, takes Rhea for a walk at 1:30. Circle the clock that shows 1:30. Now, conveniently, Math Talk, describe how you know which clock shows 1:30. We're going to talk about that right now. Well, right here, you can see this turtle. And you see it's kind of tucked in there on top of the snake. When you see it on your paper plate clock, it's a little easier to see, right? That turtle is right there on top of the snake. But on this clock, you just have to notice there's that little triangle sticking out there. Well, you can see turtle is pointing at 12. So that can't be 1:30 because turtle would have to be at least over here at 1. Here, turtle is now pointing at 1, but snake is pointing up at 12. And for 1:30, remember, turtle's going to be halfway on his way over to 2 because snake will have started going a long ways around and snake will be halfway on his trip around the clock. So now we can look here and turtle, sure enough, is halfway to 2. And right down here, snake is now halfway on his hour trip around the clock. So here is 1:30, half past 1. Next page. Purple box helps us to know what we're going to be doing, model and draw. Where should you draw the minute hand to show the time? So here's 9 o'clock. Take a look. Here's turtle pointing straight over at the 9. You know that at 9 o'clock, 0 minutes, we wrote that on our clock, didn't we? They showed us 60. But we knew up here at 12 is actually 0 minutes. So we can draw snake pointing up to the 12. And boys and girls, do you see how I'm drawing snake on through that line? Snake doesn't stop at that dotted line because that's where turtle stops. Snake needs to be nice and long. Here's 9:30, and you can see turtle is halfway from 9 to 10. So snake is also going to be halfway. He's going to be pointing down here at the 6 because also we know from making our clock yesterday that down here at the 6 is where 30 minutes is. Do you remember? 5 minutes for each hour space that turtle moves. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So 9:30 is going to have snake down here. So boys and girls, for your work here for today, for these middle 2 pages, that's what you're doing. You're going to be taking a look at turtle here, the hour hand, really closely. So you can see turtle's pointing straight at the 4. If turtle's pointing straight at the 4, well, that means snake is going to be just at the beginning of his trip around the clock for the hour. So it's right there. So our hours are 4. Then we put our colon, just like in copy work. And our minutes, well, you know, the top is 0 minutes. And boys and girls, just to give ourselves all that extra practice so it's really stuck in our brains, we're going to go ahead and set this on our clock. We're not going to let Turtle be past that 4 or behind that 4. Turtle's going to be pointing straight at that 4 for 4 o'clock, and Snake's going to be pointing straight at that 12. We'll do one more together, and then you guys are going to finish these on your own. So here you can see Turtle. Can you see he's not really quite straight at the 11? He's not straight at the 12. He's in between them. So the hours here, it's not 12 hours because he goes this way, and he's not all the way to 12 yet. So the hour that he's gotten to is 11. So we put 11 right here and our colon, and then we know he's not pointing straight at the 11 hour. He's past the 11 hour. So Snake is not going to be straight up here at the beginning of the 11 hour. He will have gone halfway around. So Snake will be right pointing down to the 6. And can you see how I took my line through that dotted circle to make sure that we can tell this is a long minute hand here, not the short turtle? So boys and girls, I think you can finish this on your own, these 2 pages. If you need some help, there are lots of ways you can contact me. Contact me and let me know. Now take a look right here. What is the error? Zoe tried to show 6 o'clock. Explain how to change the clock to show 6 o'clock. So let's take a look at this one here. First of all, do you see Turtle is pointing straight at a number and Snake is halfway around down here at the 6? So we know that's never going to happen together, right? If Snake is halfway around, then Turtle's going to be halfway to the next number. Or if Turtle's pointing straight at a number, then Snake is going to be right up here pointing straight to 12. So let's go ahead and do 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock, we're going to have Turtle pointing down toward the 6. And it's o'clock. That means 0 minutes. So Turtle points right up here to the 12. Snake, I'm sorry, points right up here to the 12. So here's 6 o'clock with Turtle pointing down and Snake pointing up. Take a look what's wrong here. Which hand is pointing up and which one is pointing down? Explain how to change that. If I had made my clock look like this, what would you tell me about how to make it show 6 o'clock? Go ahead and write that down right here. And then last page, boys and girls, this is going to be the one that you send to me. Vince looks at the clock on the wall. It shows 4 o'clock. He goes to a baseball game 30 minutes later. Draw to show what time Vince goes to the baseball game. So we're going to use our clock again because we want to figure out 4 o'clock and 30 minutes later. Now, some of you might already have this set in your brain, but if not, here's 4 o'clock, right? Turtle pointing straight at the 4, Snake pointing straight at the 12. So 30 minutes, Snake is going to go 30 minutes around, and 30 minutes later gets us to the 6, right? So there's Snake, and then Turtle. Now, 30 minutes later, Turtle's not still going to be pointing right at the 4. Remember, he's slow, but Turtle keeps going. So he won't be pointing straight at the 4. He'll be right in between. So boys and girls, go ahead and make that time here on this clock. Make sure that Turtle is short and stops at this dotted circle line. And make sure that Snake is nice and long. Missy watched a game for an hour. Write how many minutes Missy watched a game. Now remember, we wrote our minute times underneath because these main times, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, those are all hours. Minutes are these times underneath. So we can take a look here because this would be the whole hour, right? All the way around. Well, it's not going to be 0 if it's the whole hour all the way around. How far is it all the way around? Do you remember what we wrote right down there? Remember over here we had, oh, that looks like a 6. That's a 50, 55. How many minutes do we have in a whole hour? If you can't remember, you can switch back to yesterday's lesson. Write how many minutes in the hour. Brandon has lunch at 12 o'clock. Then he has math class 30 minutes later. Then he has art class 30 minutes after math class. Draw what time Brandon has art class. Oh boy, certainly a hot problem. Okay, let's use our clock. So he starts, I'm going to move this so we can see both at the same time. He starts at 12 o'clock. So 12 o'clock, turtle's pointing to the 12. And it's o'clock, it's 00. So snake is pointing up here too. Then he has math class 30 minutes later. So 30 minutes, remember, snake is going to go on down here to the 6. 30 minutes, and turtle's going to be halfway on his way to the 1. Now, 30 minutes, that's halfway, right? So their snake has gone 30 minutes halfway. Now, art class is 30 minutes after math class. So what if snake goes back up around here 30 more minutes? Now let's take a look at that. 30 more minutes, snake is going to be at the top. Turtle can't be pointing to the middle anymore. He has to be pointing straight at a number, and turtle doesn't ever go backwards, does he? So the number he would be pointing straight at is that 1. So go ahead and draw that time on your clock. Test prep easy. Which clock shows 11:30? Excuse me. You guys can figure that out. Then once you've colored in that circle, go ahead, take a picture of this page and send it to me. First graders, all done with math. Tomorrow you have your test for chapter 9. I'll see you then. Bye-bye.